Let's start with the truth most men are not ready to hear. Women don't fall for men who try to impress them. In fact, the more you try, the faster attraction dies. That's controversial, I know, because everything you've been taught says you should prove your value, show effort, chase, explain yourself, and be nice. But if that actually worked, most men wouldn't be confused about why women lose interest so quickly. Here's the uncomfortable reality. Attraction isn't logical, it's behavioral. Women don't decide to want you after analyzing your resume, your intentions, or how good your heart is. They respond instantly to how you move, how you react, and how you carry yourself in the moment. And most men unknowingly behave in ways that signal insecurity, neediness, and emotional hunger, even when they think they're being confident. This video is not about tricks, pickup lines, or manipulation. It's about one core behavior that flips a switch in a woman's mind almost immediately. A behavior so powerful that when it's present, women feel drawn without being able to fully explain why. And when it's missing, no amount of effort can compensate for it. What makes this topic controversial is that it goes against what society tells men to do. It challenges the idea that being liked is about approval. It challenges the belief that attraction is earned through effort. And it definitely challenges the comfort zone most men live in. I'm speaking to you as a man who wants clarity, not confusion. If you've ever wondered why some men effortlessly attract women while others are constantly doing the right things and still getting ignored, this is where the gap begins. By the end of this video, you'll see that attraction starts long before words, and once you understand that, everything changes. 1. Stop trying to be liked. This is where most men lose attraction without even realizing it. The moment you start trying to be liked, you silently hand over your power. Women can feel this instantly. It shows up in the way you agree too quickly, explain yourself too much, laugh when nothing is funny, or change your behavior just to keep her comfortable. You might think you're being polite or respectful, but what you're actually communicating is, I need your approval. And need is not attractive. Here's the controversial truth. Women don't want men who want them too much. They want men who are already grounded in themselves. When you try to be liked, your actions stop coming from who you are and start coming from who you think she wants you to be. That creates tension, and not the good kind. Attraction fades because there's no mystery, no emotional challenge, and no sense that you're leading your own life. Men who are instantly attractive don't walk into interactions hoping to be chosen. They walk in already choosing themselves. They're relaxed, they're present, and they're not performing. They don't rush to impress. They don't chase validation. And because of that, women feel safe, curious, and drawn in. Confidence isn't loud, it's calm. It's not about proving anything. It's about not needing to. Trying to be liked also makes you predictable. You become easy to read. Every reaction is designed to keep her approval, so there's no edge, no polarity. Attraction needs contrast. It needs the sense that you are okay whether she likes you or not. The moment a woman feels that you'd be fine without her, her interest naturally rises. Not because you're cold, but because you're complete. Imagine you're talking to a woman and she disagrees with you on something small. The man who wants to be liked immediately backs down or says, "Yeah, you're right." The man who doesn't need approval calmly says, "I see it differently," and continues the conversation without tension. He doesn't argue, he doesn't explain, he stays grounded. That small moment changes how she sees him. Stop chasing approval, start standing still in who you are. That's where attraction actually begins. 2. Emotional control beats looks. This one makes a lot of men uncomfortable because it destroys the idea that attraction is mostly about appearance. Looks might open a door, but emotional control decides whether a woman wants to stay. A man who can't regulate his emotions will lose attraction faster than a man who isn't her physical type. Emotional control doesn't mean being cold, distant, or emotionless. It means you don't let your emotions control your behavior. Many men get excited too fast, offended too easily, or discouraged the moment something doesn't go their way. Women notice this immediately. When your mood rises and falls based on her reactions, you're communicating instability, and instability kills attraction. A man with emotional control stays steady. He doesn't panic when she takes longer to reply. He doesn't overreact to small changes in her tone. He doesn't seek reassurance or ask where he stands. That calmness creates safety. And where women feel emotionally safe, attraction grows. Here's the controversial part. Women test emotional strength without realizing they're doing it. Not to hurt you, but to see if you're grounded. A comment, a delay, a disagreement. These moments reveal whether you're centered or fragile. Men who fail these moments try to explain, fix, or chase. Men who pass stay relaxed and unshaken. Emotional control also makes your presence stronger. When you speak, your words land because they're not rushed. When you listen, you're not listening to respond. You're listening because you're genuinely present. This makes women feel seen without you trying to impress them. That's rare. And rare is attractive. Looks fade into the background when a man is emotionally solid. A confident posture, a calm tone, and measured reactions outweigh perfect features. Women respond more to how you make them feel than how you look standing next to them. A woman cancels plans last minute. A reactive man gets upset, questions her interest, or goes silent out of frustration. A man with emotional control simply says, "No worries, we'll reschedule," and continues his day unaffected. That reaction alone raises her perception of him. Control your emotions and you control the energy you bring. And energy is what women actually fall for. 3. Silence is more attractive than talking. Most men believe attraction is built by saying the right things. More words, better stories, smarter opinions. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Talking too much is one of the fastest ways to kill attraction. Silence, when used correctly, is far more powerful than constant communication. When you overtalk, you remove mystery. You explain everything. You fill every pause. You give away your thoughts before they're needed. Women don't connect through information. They connect through emotion. And emotion needs space to breathe. Silence creates that space. It allows tension, curiosity, and presence to exist without forcing anything. Many men talk because they're nervous. They fear awkward moments. They fear being misunderstood. They fear that if they stop talking, interest will disappear. But the opposite is true. A man who is comfortable with silence signals confidence. He's not rushing. He's not seeking approval. He's grounded enough to let moments unfold naturally. Silence also shows self-trust. You don't need to entertain constantly. You don't need to prove intelligence or value. You trust that who you are is enough. That calm certainty is rare, and women notice it immediately. It makes them lean in emotionally because you're not chasing attention. You're allowing connection. Think about how attraction feels when it's real. It's not loud. It's subtle. It's in eye contact, tone, and timing. Silence amplifies all of that. When you speak less, your words carry more weight. When you pause instead of reacting, you appear composed. When you don't rush to fill gaps, you show emotional maturity. Many men sabotage attraction by oversharing too early. They talk about their plans, their struggles, their opinions, all before trust is built. Silence protects your energy. It allows things to unfold at the right pace. It shows restraint, and restraint is attractive. This isn't about being distant or unavailable. It's about being present without performing. You listen more. You observe more. You respond instead of react. Women feel this difference instantly, even if they can't explain it. The most attractive men aren't the loudest in the room. They're the ones who don't need to compete for attention. They understand that silence isn't emptiness. It's confidence expressed without words. Speak when it matters. Pause when it doesn't. That balance alone changes how women experience you. 4. Needing her kills desire. This is where men need to be honest with themselves. A lot of you aren't interested in women. You're attached to them. And attachment disguised as interest is one of the biggest attraction killers there is. Women don't pull away because they're confusing. They pull away because they feel needed instead of desired. Needing a woman shows up in subtle ways. You wait for her replies and let your mood depend on them. You start planning your time around her availability. You worry about losing her before you've even built anything real. And instead of leading your own life, you slowly start orbiting hers. Men, this is not romance. It's emotional dependency. Here's the criticism you might not like. Many men are lonely, not in love. And when loneliness leads the interaction, it creates pressure. Women can feel that pressure even if you never say it out loud. No woman wants to feel like she's responsible for your happiness, your confidence, or your sense of direction. Needing her also means you stop being yourself. You filter your opinions. You avoid disagreement. You tolerate behavior you don't respect because you're afraid of losing access. That fear seeps into your tone, your posture, and your decisions. Attraction doesn't survive in fear. Wake up to this. A woman should add to your life, not become your life. When your world is full, your goals, your purpose, your standards, you interact from choice, not desperation. That difference changes everything. You're calmer, you're more decisive, you're less reactive, and women respond to that shift immediately. Men who are attractive don't cling. They don't rush commitment to secure reassurance. They don't beg for attention or overinvest emotionally. They enjoy connection, but they're not dependent on it. That independence is what creates desire. If you recognize yourself here, that's not a reason to feel ashamed. It's a reason to grow. Build a life you respect. Develop emotional self-sufficiency. Learn to enjoy solitude without resenting it. Stop needing women to feel whole. Become whole first. That's when desire shows up naturally. 5. Unbothered men create curiosity. This is one of the most misunderstood behaviors in attraction. Being unbothered doesn't mean you don't care. It means your emotional state is not easily shaken. And for many men, this is where they expose insecurity without realizing it. A lot of men react to everything. A delayed reply creates anxiety. A short message creates overthinking. A change in energy creates panic. Instead of staying calm, they start chasing clarity, asking questions, or adjusting their behavior to regain control. Men, this is exactly what kills curiosity. When everything about you is predictable, there's nothing to discover. An unbothered man doesn't rush to interpret every signal. He doesn't assume rejection. He doesn't need constant reassurance. He understands that attraction flows. Sometimes it's strong, sometimes it's quiet, and he doesn't try to force it back when it dips. That calm response makes women pause and think. Curiosity is born in that pause. Here's where men need to wake up. Being emotionally reactive makes you transparent. Women can see your fear, your attachment, your expectations. An unbothered man, on the other hand, keeps his center. He continues his life, his routines, his goals. Whether she's leaning in or pulling back, that independence creates intrigue. Curiosity doesn't come from mystery alone. It comes from emotional depth. When a woman sees that you're not rattled by small shifts, she starts to wonder what grounds you, what you're focused on, what you value. And that wondering pulls her closer than chasing ever could. Many men confuse unbothered with playing games. That's not it. This isn't about ignoring messages or acting cold. It's about not emotionally collapsing when attention changes. You respond when it makes sense. You engage without urgency. You allow space without fear. When you're unbothered, your presence feels calm and secure. Women relax around you because you're not trying to extract anything from them. And ironically, the less you seem to need their attention, the more valuable your attention becomes. Stop reacting to every emotional ripple. Stay grounded. Curiosity grows in the space you don't rush to fill. 6. Women chase. Feelings, not men. This is where many men misunderstand attraction completely. You think women chase men. Status, looks, money, confidence. But in reality, women chase how a man makes them feel. And if you don't understand this, you'll keep trying to improve the wrong things while wondering why interest fades. Men often approach attraction logically. You try to be consistent, available, and clear. You show interest early. You explain intentions. You think clarity creates security. But emotional attraction doesn't grow from logic. It grows from experience, from moments, from energy, from how interactions feel, not how they're defined. A man who understands this doesn't force connection. He doesn't push closeness too fast. He allows emotions to develop naturally. He knows that excitement, curiosity, and comfort can't be demanded. They have to be felt. And feelings need space to form. Many men sabotage attraction by being too predictable. You show up the same way every time. Same tone, same energy, same availability. There's no emotional variation, no depth, no tension. Women don't chase stability alone. They chase emotional movement. They want to feel something shift when you enter the room. Relatable truth. Most men have felt this confusion. You did everything right, yet she slowly lost interest. Not because you were bad, but because nothing moved. No emotional rise, no pause, no contrast. Attraction faded quietly. Men who women chase don't try to be chased. They focus on presence. They engage when it feels right. They pull back when necessary. They allow space without anxiety. That balance creates emotional rhythm, and rhythm creates desire. This isn't about manipulation. It's about understanding emotional dynamics. You don't chase feelings by talking about them. You create them through calm confidence, grounded energy, and emotional restraint. You let anticipation do the work. Women feel drawn when interactions leave an emotional imprint, when something lingers after you leave, when there's a sense of more instead of emotional exhaustion. That's why over-explaining kills attraction. It removes imagination. Stop trying to be the man she chooses logically. Become the man who changes how she feels. That's who women end up chasing, even when they don't mean to. 7. Your reaction reveals your value. If you want to know how a woman truly sees you, don't listen to what she says. Watch how she reacts after you react. Your reactions quietly communicate your value more than your words ever will. And this is where most men give themselves away. Men talk a lot about confidence, but confidence is revealed under pressure. How do you respond when plans change? When she disagrees with you, when attention drops, when you don't get the response you expected? Those moments expose whether you're centered or seeking validation. Many men react emotionally without realizing it. They get defensive. They over-explain. They pull back dramatically, or they try to fix the situation immediately. These reactions tell a woman, my emotional state depends on you. And once she feels that, attraction starts to weaken. Here's the hard truth men need to hear. High-value men are slow to react. They don't rush to conclusions. They don't personalize every shift in energy. They pause. They observe. They respond with intention. That pause alone changes how they're perceived. Your reaction also shows your standards. When you tolerate disrespect to keep access, you lower your value. When you calmly disengage from things that don't align with you, you raise it. Not through anger, not through lectures, through quiet consistency. Relatable moment. Most men have replayed conversations in their heads, wishing they'd reacted differently. Less emotion, less explanation, more calm. That awareness is growth. Attraction improves when your reactions become measured instead of automatic. Women feel drawn to men who are emotionally predictable in the best way. Steady, grounded, composed. Not boring, stable. They trust men who don't explode emotionally or collapse under uncertainty. That trust fuels desire. Every interaction is an opportunity to reveal who you are. You can react from fear or you can respond from self-respect. One lowers attraction, the other builds it without effort. Master your reactions. You won't need to convince anyone of your value. It will be felt immediately. Conclusion. Here's the hard truth men need to hear. High-value men are slow to react. They don't rush to conclusions. They don't personalize every shift in energy. They pause. They observe. They respond with intention. That pause alone changes how they're perceived. Your reaction also shows your standards. When you tolerate disrespect to keep access, you lower your value. When you calmly disengage from things that don't align with you, you raise it. Not through anger, not through lectures, through quiet consistency. Relatable moment. Most men have replayed conversations in their heads wishing they'd reacted differently. Less emotion, less explanation, more calm. That awareness is growth. Attraction improves when your reactions become measured instead of automatic. Women feel drawn to men who are emotionally predictable in the best way. Steady, grounded, composed, not boring, stable. They trust men who don't explode emotionally or collapse under uncertainty. That trust fuels desire. Every interaction is an opportunity to reveal who you are. You can react from fear or you can respond from self-respect. One lowers attraction, the other builds it without effort. Master your reactions. You won't need to convince anyone of your value. It will be felt immediately. Here's the controversial truth that most men will refuse to admit. Women are not interested in men who try hard or play it safe. No matter how nice you are, how funny you think you are, or how much you chase validation, it won't create real attraction. In fact, it often does the opposite. Trying to impress, over-explaining, or bending yourself to be liked signals neediness, and neediness destroys desire. This might sting, but it's the reality most men avoid facing. Women don't want a man who is easily available or desperate for attention. They want a man who has his own life, his own standards, and his own emotions under control. They chase the feeling of curiosity, challenge, and stability, not the comfort of someone who agrees with everything they say. That's why being good isn't enough. Being nice isn't enough. You have to be grounded, unbothered, and emotionally solid, even when no one is watching. I want to hear from you. Have you noticed moments where you tried too hard and it backfired? Or maybe times when staying calm and unbothered made a woman lean in? Comment below with your experiences. I read every single one, and I'll reach out to share insight, clarify, and even discuss real examples together. This is not just a lecture, it's a conversation. I want to connect with men who are serious about understanding attraction at a deeper level, not just following outdated advice. And here's the cliffhanger. In the next video, we're going to uncover the single action that makes women feel instantly attracted before you even speak. It's something most men completely overlook, but when applied correctly, it changes everything about how women respond to you. You won't want to miss it.